and welcome to our second Cornerstone Session. We're pleased to introduce our esteemed guest for today, Dr. Satrava Padacharji Kapoor. With over a decade of experience in the geospatial industry, Dr. Kapoor has earned her geology doctorate from the University of Pune after a successful career in research and academia. Before joining Trimble, she made significant contributions in various roles, including a fruitful tenure at RMSI, where she led numerous impactful projects. Dr. Kapoor is also the founder and CEO of Crystal Private Limited, demonstrating her entrepreneurial spirit. Her current focus at Trimble Incorporated involves driving technology adoption across diverse sectors and actively collaborating with international monetary funds and the public sector to advance sustainable development goals. Her leadership plays a pivotal role in Trimble's development initiatives in the region. Join us in welcoming Dr. Kapoor into our session. It promises to be an enlightening discussion with a distinguished industry leader.
Good afternoon to all of you. Am I audible? Mic is required. You can hear me behind there? Yeah.
Actually, we are recording.
So you want me to do this? That's okay, right? Or you want me to hit somewhere?
It will be on live on YouTube, so go straight into the page.
So you want me right?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so first of all, I would like to. How many of you are from BA? All right, and how many of you are rest are BSc, right? So I would like to ask you first of all, how are you enjoying your subject? Good? Enjoying, right?
Yes.
Good. So look, yeah. I just want to say, like, for all of you, I understand you are into environmental sustainability, right? So, just to tell you, and maybe many of you already know, these days, whichever sector, okay, like talk about any industry, environmental sustainability and climate resilience is something which is the most important, or I should say the first step that everybody should take into consideration. So I believe you guys are actually the people who would be first kind of considered to give a go ahead for any kind of project. So let me tell you, feel very happy about the fact that you're into this domain, sector, or industry, whatever it's in, right? So before I go into any further discussion, do you have any particular question or anything you want to know? I didn't want to give any introduction because already he has told about me. Nevertheless, if you want to know, I did look my first academy, or you can say I did my studies in geology. It is like you guys are doing in environment. This is also a field subject, quite a lot. And geology was absolutely a field subject, right? So geology has many aspects. One can talk about go to petroleum, one can go to mining, one can go to environment, one can go to climate. So it was absolutely a hardcore field job. Now you must be thinking, okay, from a hardcore field job, how am I in the industry, right? You must be thinking, okay, how come she's in a corporate? I'm working with a Trimble, which is a US-based multinational company, and we are providing technology. So if this is your question and if it is coming in your mind, let me tell you one thing. Everything has an applied part. All right? Even if you are studying geology, that geology now with the digitalization, right? With everything getting into computer, everything is seen in digital form. Even the geology has to come into digital form. So now when you are talking about digitalization, you are talking about technology. So this is a journey which I have done, and it was, believe me, it was not that easy. Because you guys are lucky to have internet and so many connections, social media, a lot of information available. We are old people. We didn't have any computer when we were studying, right? We went to library, we didn't have much information or connection. So I think, first of all, which I would like to say is that this is something which I'm really glad that so many students, so many of you are with the environment, and believe me, there is a huge barrier on that. Now I will take a pause, and if you have any question to ask me. Any questions? Yes, please.
To add additional skill sets? Is there something that the corporation expects from environmental studies students? What should we be preparing for?
Very good question.
Yes.
Trisha. Okay. So yeah, so Trisha has asked a question. If you, I think you haven't heard of her, it's not that loud. So I will just repeat the question. She said, okay, when we are making a, like with this journey from academy to technology or for corporate, what industry expects? Do you really need to do any kind of extra courses, or do you need to do anything which like industry expects from you, right? So answer to your question, Trisha, it's a step-by-step thing. Like when you are in academy, then when you are doing the projects, as I said, like even if it is too highly academical project, nevertheless you will have to do it in, you will have to bring it to a platform wherein your data, even if it is environmental project or geological project, there are data involved. Now when we talk about data, you are using some kind of platforms, right? So what industry wants from you is that when you are doing project, how do you show your project? If you're collecting some data, how do you show it? You are not showing it with, drawing it with hands or something, right? You're using some kind of software. I'm sure many of you are using software, right? What kind of software you guys are using?
Yeah.
QGIS. Perfect. So basically, quantum GIS, right? So when you are using already this kind of software, those things, some knowledge you must have when you are entering into a corporate. Now, if I talk about myself, so I mean, directly answering to your question, let me tell this. Like when I did geology, I was absolutely doing it in very less softwares we have used. But then first job which I did in Rwanda. So there they given some training first of all. Like we study, all of you know remote sensing, right? So remote sensing means what? You are every day doing it actually unknowingly. When you are using GPS, that is, you are looking into map here, looking into location intelligence, isn't it? On the satellite, you are actually looking into all your data on satellite. So basically, remote sensing is what you are studying remotely you are doing. That is also something. It's a part of geology. So basically, I started my corporate life with this remote sensing. Now, when you guys are doing environment, when you are coming to corporate, there are many things. Like if you are going to say water management kind of thing, wastewater management, or say you are going to something related to wildlife, okay, or you are going to say construction. All right. There, what happens if you are going to any kind of industry? They want you to understand. Like with environment, like when you are studying the environmental parameters, how you are going to bring it in this, like how you prepare it, how you present it, or kind of integrate with their data. That is important, and that is what is the expectation that you have the data. How are you data? Like when we have the data, it doesn't really only helps us until and unless you use it intelligently. So that is one thing you should know, whichever way it is possible. So basically, maybe you are already in your course, you are using QGIS. Maybe there are some more tools which organization will expect you to know. But in a course, they will train you also. Main thing is that you should know what parameters need to be considered sector-wise. Like if you are talking about wastewater, what all parameters you need to know to give an environmental impact assessment report, say. Even in construction, if someone has to construct a road, what all parameters they need to know? What is it?
Speak.
Oh, okay. something else. So this is something, yeah, stepwise, like in a course. I mean, in industry, there are very less people who are actually, good enough knowledge they have in environmental sector. And as you all know, in nowadays, this is something without a go ahead from environmentalist or environment expert, nothing can be done. If say I am working with National Highway Authority and I am to construct this road, I need to show an environmental impact assessment report that you all know, right? Now, if say you are not giving a go ahead because you think there will be a lot of carbon emission and we do not have a kind of how this carbon emission can be reduced. You don't have a alternate idea for that or a plan for that, and you are not giving a go ahead. So they cannot do anything. So basically, with the government now so active, not only in our country, all over the world, you all know SDGs, right? Special Development Goals, all of you are aware, I'm sure, isn't it? This is something which is very important for in this course. So in SDGs, if we look into it, everybody, like whenever any project has to start, they need to fulfill those objectives, and especially if it is a funded project. Okay. In any government project, believe me, there are some funds coming from International Monetary Fund. It may be Asian Development Bank, it can be World Bank, it can be AIIB, we call it, or JICA. JICA, a Japanese fund, they are giving the funds and they are really active in this construction. Now, when they are giving this fund, they are aligned with an objective. And this objective is definitely with environment, one thing, and one thing is climate resilient. You have then carbon footprint is one thing they have to take care of, right? And for that, environmentalist is must. And I think this is something for you guys, you should be like, for your preparation along with the courses, you should just understand, look into these reports available sometime, what is happening, what are the actually parameters they give, like, they are preparing, what are the, what softwares are being used. A lot of things are available in the net also. You can look into it as well. And yeah, so this is what I wanted to say. Basically, what you are doing, your courses are sort of updated. Already you have learned many things, but additionally, there is an expectation which is what they have. They will give you training. You should have an understanding of what parameters, what softwares are being used. That is, I think, quite a lot to get an entry to any of this such organization where related to environmental climate. So, if I answered your question, any other questions? Or you want to, yeah, please.
In your MNC organization, what are like the daily works that you do, and what is that one knowledge that you require on a daily basis, like projects? But
So your name?
sorry, Vamika.
Oh. So Vamika's question, did you hear? No. So Vamika's question is, in the organization I'm working in, it's a multinational company, okay, US-based company. It is called Trimble, and Trimble is a very big company with various sectors. So our question is, in every day while doing the project, what is that we or I need to consider, or every time I need to take into consideration or take into, how do I say, put it on priority, right? So, Vamika, just like, let me give you a kind of snapshot of our company. Okay? So, our company is a technology provider. All right. Now, when I am saying technology provider, we ourselves do not go in the field and do the project, but the people who are doing the project, we provide them the technology. Okay. Now, why technology is important? As you all know, now when everybody is into this era, is that, okay, climate resilient, environment sustainability, these are the two things, carbon footprint, which are very important, right? For that, technology is very important. How, let me tell you. I'll give you one example. Say mining, okay? Previously, mining used to happen, so people get to know from old geological map that okay, we have the reserve. For example, gold. Let's not take gold. Let's take coal. Okay, the coal seams are there. They get to understand from the maps. Now, what happens is that they have an understanding. Okay, this is the geological structure. This kind of coal seam is going. So we'll start exploration. So they will start exploring, kind of excavation of the all the places, right? Afterwards, what happens when they do excavation? They will, like previously I'm talking about, they excavate without a knowledge that they are doing deforestation on the coast. They are contaminating the water, contaminating the land. Plus, the land strength is gone. Because manually, when only looking into map, this work is being done. It is creating a lot of pollution in terms of contamination, water, landfill, or say air pollution, because deforestation is done, and water. Right now, when technology is used, how it is now done is with remote sensing. Okay, the maps are now with the QGIS. You guys are mentioning QGIS. You know the layer wise, you can see the data, right? So what happens? Geology data is there. You have the parcel, land parcel is there. You have the water data, drainage data. You know where the water is going on. You have every information. You have the habitation information, that where all people are staying. You know the biodiversity areas, like where all reserve forest is there, or maybe some biodiversity park is there. So when this every layers you have, you can plan it better, right? Then what happens with the we have some other, like you do a sample collection, then you are doing geophysical studies, like magnetometer or resistivity is being they take some samples, they talk about, like, I'm just giving you an example, like what is the depth of the sedimentary. Okay, now with this whole thing, whole understanding, whole data is being brought into your QGIS. Now you know that okay, this is the profile, and I have the water, main river is going through, and we do not have much of the mineral over there, but we have here. Okay, so the excavation will start over here because reserve is more. So in the course, what you are doing is that you are not actually contaminating the water. If you want to think that okay, I have to destroy some, I have to cut some vegetable forest, then you can plan, okay, this area we will do the plantation, right? So this is how you are balancing this like carbon emission. One way you are destroying the forest, one way you are planning, you are not contaminating the water, yet you are doing the exploration where the reserve is best, right? So this is how, it's a very small example of technology, how you are implementing technology. Now, in my job, I'm working across, how do I say, it's a vertical sectors are there, right? There is transportation, there is natural resource mining, everything very well. There you have the road, metro, under construction. I have the agriculture, water. Now I'm working cross-sectionally, as in horizontally cutting across all this sector. Answer to your question. Now what happens? In everyday job, what I need to see is that, okay, say in the construction sector, what is the fund available? Who are there? World Bank? Okay, World Bank is providing this much fund. So what is their objective that they need to they should gain, or what is their goal? All right, they have 3 goals they need to consider. One is your carbon footprint, one is your sustainable environment, and then we say more job or poverty reduction, right? So accordingly, what happens is that some designer is there, design consultant. So what we do, based on that, we talk to design consultant, we talk to NHAI, who are the National Highway Authority, who are the implementing agency, that okay, look, you are going to create a road, you are going this way, why don't you, we have this technology, we have this hardware, software, which will show you, if you don't construct a road this way and you are constructing a road this way, you don't have to destroy this habitation, you don't have to destroy this forest, you have to create 2 tunnels maybe without destroying the wheels, and take this road and you can save this much of amount. So this kind of things every day we are doing for each and every sector. Basically technology advocacy, how it can create minimum impact negatively in environment. So this is what we do every day, and that is how we are going to funding agency also to advocate them that okay, okay, this is how we think we should also be implemented agency, so that they can adopt technology as much as possible. So when we are going to National Highway Authority or mining, any other implementing agencies as Survey of India, so we are telling them, okay, you are doing it manually, you are wasting so much of time. Plus actually your work, manual work is impacting the environment. So why don't you take this technology? This is really going to help you in terms of cost and cost effective, as well as it will save all this. You will not have to answer for carbon footprint, right? So this is what is the most important thing we are doing. And with us, always an environmental expert is associated with us. Without them, we can't do anything because we are not environmentalists, right? So they need to give their parameters and everything. So this is answer to your question. Any other question you were asking something? Yes.
So basically, at the moment you have, like currently you have any sustainability specific tools at your company. That's my first question. Second one, suppose you're coming with a bachelor's of environment and sustainability, either in BSc or BA. What skills do we need to be equipped with if we want to?
If you
want to join a corporate or a company like yours?
Yeah. So as I said, first thing is that you need to understand that you should have proper knowledge of parameters. Like your choice of sector. Maybe it is a water sector, maybe it is a rural development sector, agriculture sector, wastewater, what do you call, management sector, stormwater, whatever it is, or maybe something forestry, deforestation, wildlife preservation, biodiversity, whatever. You should know what all, first thing is that you should know what all parameters need to be considered under environmental, what do I say, impact assessment report, or say what are those parameters these companies are considering while they are doing this project. This is important, okay? And this you will get, I'm sure your course also covers that. Plus, you will have to do a little research on it. Look into these companies, like for example, go to L&T, National Tube, okay? Go to their site, see what they are doing. Go to NHI sites, maybe you can look into some report, okay, available environmental impact assessment report on, say, wildlife conservation, right? So you'll see what all parameters there is. So keep yourself updated on that. Like when you are going to corporate, believe me, no one expects you that, okay, you will say, okay, I can do everything, I know everything. They will expect you should have a minimum understanding what you need to do or what are the things needs to be covered. Not all. If you can even say that, okay, under this sector, these are the parameters we need to see. Basically, your understanding is important. Then the training they will be providing anyhow. Because every organization has their own way of doing the work. They are taking different kind of software they're using different technologies. They have their own team. So you will definitely get a training. Believe me, nobody expects you to take the project individually. The moment you are entering, you will get a training, you will get a handover. Okay, but what you know, and you should know what you are supposed to do. Why are you going there? What are the parameters that is considered for your work, right? These are the things you should. So do some extra. I mean, this industry reports. I would give you a suggestion that you should look into industry reports, like what are the things coming up, like in road, in water, in agri, and in all the sectors. So whatever your interest. I mean, how is it like? Going forward in final year, do you get an option to take your specialized sector or something?
We have a dissertation.
Sorry?
We have a dissertation where we have to work on one topic to write research.
Okay, so then you are taking the topic, right? So when you are choosing a topic, make sure that you take extra knowledge as from in these reports and everything. But otherwise, I believe if you are aware of what you want to do, okay, and what are the points, like some of the parameters, that is something which is not going to create an issue. But you will have to have a faith in yourself that you are doing a great job, guys. Like the environment is something which is really, really important. So always feel that when you are completing your courses, you will immediately and you will definitely get absorbed with you will get a placement, you will get through placement, you will get a job. Don't expect or don't even think that the people are expecting that, okay, you know everything. what you know, you should, what you have studied, you should know that. Some basic idea about the industries, where you want to go, what is happening, and how this, a few examples of reports you look into it. What are the softwares being used? You already know. Kijua is being used, and you have the easily. Your professors, I mean, are very, they are know all this informations. They will also help you. Easily softwares are being used, and there are many other softwares are used. You have information available in net. Just search, okay, how this, like, you know, what are the software being used? You will get a list of that. You get a demo of that. So there are many ways to learn. Don't have to think that, okay, I know it, like this, when I go for an interview, people will think that I should know everything. So that is not the case. You will get a training. So never ever worry about that. What else, what any question you want, any other thing? Yeah, please.
So as you said that we recommend that you don't construct this road but the other way.
Yeah, yeah.
So from where do you get this input? You have ground
Perfect.
working or where do you get it?
Yes. So, when we say that, we have hardwares and softwares. So basically what we do is that, there's a very software called Tekla. There are many technologies, so let me put it in this way. In every step we have software and hardware, okay? So when you are doing a design, you have the design software. When you have, you are going to actually, let me give you a life cycle of a road, okay? Okay, hard question is, like when the design, in design, like say in the road design, we go and tell to the people who are actually constructing it, okay? Say National Highway Authority has given the tender. You understand tender, all of you? Okay, so National Highway Authority has given the tender to say one of the biggest company in India is Larsen and Toubro. All of you know Larsen and Toubro is a construction company, okay? They are into many things, but mostly they are the people, contractor who takes the contract from the government and start working on the road, and they also do the subcontracting for cement and all stuff. Now, hard question is, when we go to implementing agency and say that, okay, you are constructing this road, don't go this straight, take a little curve, or don't take this curve, go straight, and or take overhead. So in that case, you will save this all environmental impact, right? So how do we do that? Our question is that. So this is based on technology. Let me tell you one thing. So this project goes phase-wise. First phase is design. So in the design phase, you have some softwares. They give you, they take some inputs. Some are from ground truthing. As you say, do you have a team in the ground working? Yes, we do have. Those people take some information from the ground, okay, just to do the ground truthing, as in random checking of the data. But in the office, there is a software which takes all information. You have the geological information, you have the road, what you call, soil type information. You incorporate all this information into the software, okay? Then you have information of forest, you have the hills, what is the distance, okay? What is the habitation, all this. Now this design software, when we run all this information, incorporating some algorithm, you can change this algorithm, you can customize it as per your requirement. Say you are putting in forest jungle cutting, you are putting least value. Okay, so this kind of, some kind of value it will ask for. You are putting those values, and okay, river, you don't want to go through the river. So you are giving all your information. So what it does is that takes your information as well as the data, and then it creates a model. All right. When it creates a model, it will give you 3-4 kind of model, and give the information below that if you take this model 1, in that model, your expected cost is this much. If you are taking this and time is this much, loss is this much, carbon footprint is this much, it will give all information. Now, when you have 4 models, you send your team, okay, in the ground, and ask them to look into it. Like, okay, it's based on model, what is possible and what not. Is there a really habitation is there? If there is, whatever, all information you gather, and then based on that you decide. Okay. So this is the design phase. In the construction phase, we have different technology. So you have seen in India, the moment it rains, the road comes out, right? It is because these days we are not using any technology for compaction. Now we are working with the say National Highway Authority that every time you are actually working on the road, okay, wasting a lot of cement, a lot of other soil, then they put the coal tar, they are burning it, a lot of fumes are coming up. So what we have asked them, we call it a technology called machine control. If you are putting it, you are incorporating it in your bulldozer or the material it spreads that what you call those big bulldozer. So it will actually can measure based on the road how much compaction it is needed or how much thickening it should thick it should be. Based on that, what it does, for example, you have the road, but in some places it is little soft, maybe some drainage is going on. So there maybe they need more material and compaction should be to a kind of level. So those all information this machine gives. So now we are introduced into NHI that okay, look, every time you are spending so much of money. So what you do is that the contractor, whoever will be constructing this road, ask them to put it as a mandate that 5 years they will give you the like warranty period, they will maintain the road. The moment you put it, they will do the best work because they know that okay, in 5 years I have to maintain the road, then my money is gone. So while doing the construction, they use the best possible technology, best possible materials, right? So this is one of the technology in the construction phase. Now going forward, again we have some other technologies where we are using, like when a say bridge is formed, so we can introduce those technology to see that if you know that soccer is there, how do I say? In bridge it is connected, right? So those connections need to be very accurate, otherwise there will be accidents. So we have the software to check those also. That if every part of this fiber is connected well, all this kind of nuts and all stuff are properly connected, properly tied. If it is loose, our software tells us that okay, this is loose, it needs to be connected. So we send this information to the people who are maintaining. They go there, tight it, and this way. So there are many phases. So I'll give you one example. Like you all know that Statue of Unity is being constructed, right? So that is constructed using our technology called Vigla, wherein you might have seen that the statue has the clothes like this kurta and dhoti that have a lot of folds. For putting it in our right places to get it fixed, one typical technology we have used, because otherwise there will be space and that will come out very easily. So those technologies are being used to make a statue also. Okay. Similarly, Chenab bridge, that's an art bridge. So for those, to do a minimum impact on environment or waste material, you need to incorporate those technologies. So this is how we do. If I answered your question. Any other thing with your subject or anything, any other point you really want to know? If you have anything, you can ask. Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit about the agriculture sector, like how your company is driving technology based?
So in agriculture, in India, okay, sorry. It's fine, like
You all can hear without the mic there.
we can put it somewhere so that. Yeah. Is it okay? Okay, so you said agriculture. All right, so the farmlands are there. So in India, we do not have a very big farmlands other than Punjab. Okay, so Punjab we have big farms. Now what happens? We call precision technology. You have seen the people while doing the when sowing time comes, not sowing, sorry, plantation time comes, or simply what you call, when they put those plants in a line, in a row, people themselves they work. So it takes a lot of manual labor. A lot of people are working, putting it in a line and all, and that is very important. You see, these lines are very straight and all. That takes a long time. Now in precision technology, what happens is that in the tractor, we have some technology which we provide them. One thing is we call it auto steering. So the tractor can itself go straight and do those material can be, they can create a line, and you can just standing in a corner under some shadow or a tree, one can just do it with a system in their hand, even with the Android mobile you have. So it will go straight, then again it will come back, then again it will go straight. This way what it does is that with the technology, it will do this what manually people do with the tractor, or in very old time they used to do with the bulls and ox, right? So those system is gone. So with the tractor they do it. Now the people are not needed. Now there are other systems where when it is going, it can with the proper distance, it can just put the information that okay, within 1 feet there should be it should be they should put a seal over there. So it will do after one feet. Say you have given 1 feet. After 1 feet, you can put the seals. So what happens? The work which is being done by 50 people within say 1 week, it is done in a day, maybe half by a machine in a big land. So this is called precision technology, which we are doing. Secondly, there are other technologies called green sigma, which actually gives information on plant yield. You understand plant yield? When sometimes farmers they don't understand and their crop gets infested. Okay, so what we give them a technology which is all information or software is being given in their Android. Okay, and green seeker information is incorporated. So what can they do is that sometimes they can go random something they can do. If they have to click a picture and it will give all information. That if it is healthy or it needs some infestation has started or what is its yield and everything, right? So this is something which we're doing. Secondly is water sprinkler, which are again based on drone. You all know drone, right? So based on drone, the sprinkler is being used to sprinkle in area where people cannot go, and the water needs to be big area. They do it with the drone, right? And then positioning of the sprinkler and also. But in India, I must say that in agriculture, technology is very slow, adoption is very slow. We are trying a lot of work, a lot of activities with the agricultures and farmers. But so far, only auto steering we are able to kind of push. So this is something we are doing. So it's basically irrigation and the agriculture. So you ask a specific question, you have interest in this sector?
Yes, actually, I've done an internship in the same sector.
All right, good.
One of the reasons agriculture is not from technology is because farmers are not it.
Yeah, so see, in India, our farmers are not very rich, right? The technology, all technologies are not very kind of cheap. They are, so for farmer, it is important that either they get a fund, subsidiary basically. Even if they get fund, they cannot return back. They are not in the condition to take a loan and then return back. It becomes tough. So basically, if there is a landowner who is giving his land to the farmers to do this, so they are the people who are in the position to take this technology. So now in G20, you all know the G20 has happened right now, right? Now the G20, it has been taken into consideration that all farmers should get some kind of benefit and technology should be embedded at the rural level. Now we are working with one of the company. So this guy will go to Sarpanch. You know Sarpanch, right? So what happens in a village, if Sarpanch does something and he tells to the villagers that, okay, this is something which is very helpful and you all should do it, then everybody goes with Sarpanch. So we are trying to, through that company, because we ourselves do not execute, we give technology. So that company, we have appointed them to go to the Sarpanch level and talk to them and insist them to take the technology because government is providing money now. With RBI and other one international monetary fund is there who are giving grants, not fund. There is a difference between grants and funds, okay? When you are giving funds, it is a loan. you'll have to pay back. And when it is a grant, it is something which is payment is not required. Like you don't have to give a very low, high interest or something. So this grant is being given to agriculture sector now. You can look into it under G20. There is a program on agriculture. It has started. So there it is. Now they will probably. We hope they will take new technologies now. What else? Who are interested in wildlife? Wonderful. A lot of people, you know. Great. So what is it interest you? Conservation. All right. And what do you think in wildlife? What is happening? Why do you think that conservation is important? Why do you think it is not being conserved?
Because we are trying to bring other animals
Right.
so that makes sure they are not like connected with the ecosystem. So that makes them like invasive species. So that is actually not good for the other, also the other animals. And also ecosystem management is very
Absolutely.
yeah. These are the two main. And also plantation of invasive
Deforestation.
and invasive.
So here I can give you some inputs on that based on that. Like if you say you have you are talking about conservation and you are talking about deforestation, right? So how you can help to the people who are into wildlife? So basically, when you do, let me ask you this question: when you are studying environmental sustainability, what would be your approach to kind of give a solution or give a report to the people in, say, I'm a wildlife from the what do you call wildlife sector, and you are coming and talking to me and giving an approach that how you can conserve or what we should do. What would be your approach to study? How you will find out what you do? Sita, you know, because it is like public. Otherwise, how do you think? And what would be your approach to understanding that what is happening? Why this particular area needs conservation? What would be your parameters to come to a conclusion that okay, we need to do this conservation and ecosystem maintenance of this particular, say, by wildlife or reserve policy. Just don't take stress. Just whatever comes in, tell me. Whatever comes, like any wild guess. Anybody else here? You can help. What's your name? Devash. Good. It's a good discussion activity. Anybody?
We start with one area and then it's provide the solutions that are that were there but they're not there now.
Right.
And then based on that we tell them then how much how it was before and how much it deteriorated. So then any get an idea of what the situation is not feeling right. That's how we probably start.
Right. So you should be moving out. Okay, let me repeat what she said. So one point she is saying is that maybe it's looking into the species. Okay, that okay if we see that okay in this particular reserve or this particular species is degrading or number of species is going down, then probably we need to understand why. What is affecting it? Okay, this is one example. Any other? Yes, please.
By
Perfect. This is you are coming to technology. Very well said. Perfect.
I think we need to look into other aspects of life. For example, like we have the resources to be able to other species. That's why we need conservation elements. And apart from that, we want to conserve them, we need to talk about climate change and other aspects to that effect. Conservation.
Right. So climate change, technology, and species. Yes.
we can also use the traditional tools.
Perfect.
We can get the
information from the particular libraries to the students in class.
Free service.
So then we can mix both technological development and teaching.
So actually, you guys know everything. You see. I mean, this is something which you tell to the people who are looking into it, they'll feel more than happy. Okay? So there are 3-4 points the discussion has what they have told. One is species calculation, why the species is reducing. One is technology adoption, maybe some camera installing, which we are doing already, let me tell you. One is like climate resilience study, maybe looking into what is the impact in that particular area, right? So let me give you one example. Yeah, it is in one of the forests, I can't recall the name. So there were number of species were reducing, that is very correct, and the poaching was happening. Okay, and the poachers were there, and it was not detectable. Then there are encroachment, which is very important in forest when we talk about wildlife. What is encroachment? People from the come and stay over there for their livelihood. Say, for example, they start making some crafts with bamboos. So what do they do is that they cut the bamboos and they keep on encroaching. You know, they make huts and all. So first thing is that you need to stop the encroachment. So when you go and approach to these organizations, you will have to give some kind of parameter. One is detection of encroachment or mapping the encroachment area. If your forest area was say 25 kilometer, okay, or square or something like that, I mean, whatever it is, and it is reducing because of the encroachment and habitation started. So first thing you need to report that. Secondly, what you can say is that how you can do. What you are telling, we are already putting GPS and sensors on the trees, like every time animal is moving and what is happening, it is being recorded in the main office of that particular forest. They have their offices. Encroachment.
Yeah, because encroachment is from the
Remote sensing. You are doing it in remote sensing with the 10, like if you have 10 years of data, you get it in Google, get it in Google Earth, right? You can see for 10 years or you can get a satellite data and you will see how data is being encoded. See, sometimes try that. If you guys have the access to Google Earth, go to 2010 or 2013 and see the data and take any forest, say take Orissa, the best example, and you will see how this forest area has been reduced. It is, if it was like this, it will start this and this. So this encroachment is happening, which is very important to report. Because unless and until it is being reported, nobody knows it what is happening. So you ask, what was your question? This is your question, right? So basically it is a trend analysis, okay, remote sensing based studies. And then what we do is that for species, we put those, like normally what happens in every jungle, there are water kept for the animal to come and have those water, some kind of arrangement, right? So we find out some places, mostly where activities happens, and put those cameras, GPS and all. And this automatically, this keeps on, like, in the office, this gets recorded and they take a range of, say, 1 month range and they will look into it, what's happening, all the activities. Based on that also they do the mapping. Okay, and then another point is what she said is climate. So recently we have seen in Rajasthan where like out of the way suddenly there was flood. So how the animals were affected. So those things you can study. That would be some areas now with the change of climate and environment. Suddenly we are getting, some areas are flooded suddenly, which is not expected. Sudden rain, okay, sudden drought. So how these are affecting your overall ecosystem, which you can actually do the study based on some ground truthing, as in talking to the people, and some through the mapping, some incorporating technology, some through the report and information what is available. So yeah, so this is in wildlife. What else? Who all are interested in stormwater and wastewater management? No one. Water is so important thing. It's getting like All right, let me ask you a question. And do you all know there is one country where is No drinking water, groundwater is dry. No groundwater. It's not in India.
Israel.
No. Correct. South Africa, Cape Town.
Okay.
Cape Town. South Africa, the groundwater table has now it is gone. Like they don't have drinking water. So basically, water is one of the very important aspect we all know, and this is one of the challenging things in this your whole environmental study. Okay, that groundwater table how it is depleting. In some places, it is like there is no balance, and you all know the government is now trying to for India trying to work in connecting the rivers so that the groundwater table is maintained. So in various places, this is the biggest issue. They don't have, they are doing a lot many work that how it can be balanced. So, all right, the water sector is important of course, but yeah, climate like is more in terms of pollution, in terms of these are very important while you talk about corporate, of course. So what else? What all? Any other question or any other sector you want to discuss? Anything?
The waste management sector, especially for the workers, where I am, several well-established corporates are branching off into the waste management sector. They really do good work in that sector.
Okay. Yes. So let me ask you first. By wastewater management, what are you saying about waste management?
Waste management is a
Overall.
yes.
All right. So look, I would like to say on that there in our if I talk about corporate, then we do not have a dedicated waste management kind of sector or something, but we say utility. So when we talk about utility, actually this waste management doesn't come. But having said that, there are some very famous and important NGOs or non-profitable organization, but there are some how do I say, public-private PPP or some other organization. I'll give you some names, maybe Rahul or Naveen I'll share with you. Those organizations are very desperately working on this waste management. Okay, it is not only this solid waste or water waste. It is in everything. Like for example, there are sewage. Many times, what happens is that with the drinking water, sewage water is getting mixed. All right. So this is one of the major issue. So many organization is working very strongly on that. That how this utility basically sewage and wastewater, drinking water needs to be separated, and there shouldn't be any way of mixing and how it is detectable. So there, when this is please you see something.
Yes, at least priority public which is mostly related to construction residential places. What they've done is they've started an enterprise under their name. It's under the name of Gratitude that is called Recycling. So they basically do a lot of work in collecting dry waste and sending it for recycling, all of that.
Yes.
So do you think there's a change in the mindset of corporations and seeing waste management as a profitable sector, perhaps?
Yeah. Let me divide it. Waste management is, of course, it's a profitable or it's a challenging sector. So if you're asking in terms of what is your future or job prospects, you do have job prospects over there. But in solid waste management in India, corporate is not putting much effort. And at this moment, it is absolutely with the government. Okay, we are. If you see corporate, there are very less people in cleaning and all stuff. But you will not find very intense work is being done by the corporate as such. If I talk about private organization, not in India, it's outside there. A lot of work is happening. But if you talk about wastewater management, now we are into it. So many organizations are working into this water management in terms of, as I said, then there are technology being used that, okay, how do we map it? How do we plan it? So while doing the planning also this is there. But I will be honest to say that in wastewater management, solid waste management, we are still a little behind. But definitely we'll be doing in future because that is slowly we are developing nation, and now India is much more better. The whole world is looking, focusing towards like India's growth and infrastructure development. So eventually solid waste management will also come. So at this moment I cannot give you much perspective on that, but definitely moving forward there. Rahul has something to say on that. You will wastewater management. Anything else? You are from Hyderabad. Boys are very quiet. Like what happened? Nobody's.
I was just wondering one thing, like you have a lot of experience when it comes to company, when it comes to starting your own venture. In fact, I've spoken to a couple of students earlier. They also like to start something of their own. So when do we actually know that this is the right time when we should, start our own venture?
All right. So answer to your question is there is no right time. Let me tell you. Why am I telling you? I know a few people who are very young. Okay, 21, 22, and they started their venture and very successful. But if you will listen to Alibaba CEO, he says when you are in 40s, that's the best time to start your startup because you have gained all experience through your corporate, through your academic, through your jobs. Like in a job, everybody gets trained, so you know what is right. You know the industry, you know the sector. But having said that, let me tell you one thing. Nowadays, startups are really doing good, and believe me, Avinash, there's people who are with 20s, they are coming up with brilliant ideas. And government, when they're seeing that okay, their contribution is important, a lot of funds being given to them. Like first 10 lakhs maybe to show them some prototype, and then they are giving funds. Then later on, the venture capitalists are coming. So basically, to answer your question, as per my understanding, if you know what you are supposed to do, and if you have the product line in your mind, what you are going to sell, what you are going to put in the industry, then any time is fine for starting a startup. You should know where you will get the fund from because initial fund is required, right? If you want to give a plan, don't get into venture capitalists first. You understand venture capitalists, all of you? All of you? Okay, let me tell you, just explain you. Venture capitalists are the people who gives money to a startup company to start their organization. But for that, we need to give them plan. We need to give them whole 5 years plan when the cash flow will, what cash flow would be when the revenue starts. By revenue starts, what I mean is that when you start selling and you get money, or you get profit and then revenue, right? Venture capitalists, right in the beginning, if you take the money, then you are burdened. Because if you don't know, you haven't developed the prototype, and you don't know how market will behave, okay? And you are taking the money, and the first year, the amount of sale you are expecting you don't do, then it keeps on capping up. Venture capitalists, when they give money, it is not in X or X into X, it's X to the power 2, X to the power 4, X to the power 6. It's like this. So every time you are not able to give them back their interest, it increases by, double, then 4 times, then 6 times. So it's kind of trap. Then what happens? Startup people, they take the money and they are not able to do it. Then the time comes when it is very frustrating, right? And the venture capitalists are very, very rude people, let me tell you. They will not let go their money. Okay? So don't get into that trap. My advice to you, okay, first of all, how many of you want to start your startup? Okay, wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you will have to tell me what is your idea. No idea. What you want
No,
to
I
say?
have an idea. I want to do something related to fashion.
Fast fashion. Fashion.
Yeah, fashion.
Fashion. Fine, perfect. Okay, fashion, if you are talking about, so you need a platform. It's online.
I don't have a concrete idea.
Okay.
I have like a thought.
All right. So there also you need money, but maybe in fashion I would say you are much more safer because you don't have to spend a lot in the beginning, right? If you're talking about fashion, but if you're talking about the product, then it's a lot. Fashion is a little safer. I mean, don't get into venture capitalist anyhow. First, then you start saving some money, and initially you maybe don't give much money. You can take startup 10 lakhs, which government is giving, and plan accordingly, right? And then you can expand and take. Then when you see that okay, your business is really fine, then you can take loans when you know that you can pay back, right? And who all say you say startup? Who all say sorry? I missed it. Yeah, now you're not putting me. Who all were there? Come on, raise your hand. Let's hear. All right, fine. You said what is it you want to do?
It's an initiative in waste management.
Waste management. All right. Now there it is like waste management when you are thinking startup. So when you plan investment wise, so let me tell you in this way. Don't get into venture capitalist first because it will be a very stressful thing. So when you start, give a startup application to government. Government provides especially to the women. Okay, they have this special kind of like women. They are encouraging women to come up with startups. So you get a 10 lakh first. So plan out something, make some design, some documentation, or your proposal should be right, so that your proposal is taken by any organization who is working in waste management. Or you start your own, so that you show your proposal, you start working, you are doing some pilot project, and then your pilot project, you see that it is being accepted by many organizations, then you scale. And when you are scaling up, you know your market, you'll have to do a very strong market research. You will have to understand whether what you are working is acceptable in the market or not, which market, which sector, and you have to plan out year-wise. Okay? And then once you've done the pilot project, you need to sell this and see what is the reaction. If it is great, go ahead, take it on, because you know you will not fail. But if you see that okay, some suggestions are coming, work on it. Okay, so basically in startups, answer to your question, your suggestion, Avinash. So startup, you have the if you have a right plan and you know the market, you know that for sure if I say this, I'm going to get money from this sector. Okay, then you start up your startup. You can initiate your startup. Make sure you use this government support. Do not go to VC initially, venture capitalist. That you can do later. Okay, but for startup, no age is age limit is not there if you have a right idea. So go on. If you have a great idea, start. One thing, please hear it carefully. Don't scare of failure. Okay? Even your failure teaches you something. In startup, there is a chance that in the first time you will fail, and then you will feel sorry that okay, I have wasted money. Don't ever think that. While you are doing this whole startup, you are learning on the process. That's a great thing. And believe me, corporate gives a lot of importance in that. So I'll give you one example of that. On my case, I started my startup in 2016 and ran it in 2020, and it was good. And I did not take money from anybody. Okay, not even government. That time that startup government's initiative wasn't there, or I was also not that aware. Later on, it came. So in COVID time, I could not manage. All right. So when the Trimble guys came to me, I was not in the very mood of joining to any job. I was thinking to again, like with after COVID, I'll start working on that. We have some other works I was contributing on that. So when Trimble, they started discussing with me. The first thing I said that okay, look, I do want to take the job, but definitely if you want to continue the discussion, I'm happy to discuss. I will also learn on the process. But as the discussion went on, it was very interesting. So one of the MD asked me, like India, the person who's looking to go to India is the managing director, that okay, what has happened to your startup? So I answered, look, in 2020 I failed. All right, and believe me, he was very happy to learn that. He said, okay, you failed, you ran 4 years and you failed. That means you learned on the process a lot of things. So if I give you If you come and take up a division, I'm sure right from the beginning you can take it forward because you know how to start from the scratch. And you haven't taken this failure as a setback. You have learned from that, right? So this is something your spirit should be. Never ever expect that okay मैंने तो शुरू किया startup and मेरे पहली साल ही मुझे बहुत सारा profit आने लगेगा. It doesn't happen in that way, okay? Maybe first 2-3 years you will just able to get the money back which you have invested, or you may not get all money back. Then after 2-3 years maybe you will get some profit. Then you will start getting revenue, right? So these are the things which you need to keep in your mind when you start startup. Don't go by your emotion only, all right? Think it carefully, plan it carefully, study the market, take advice from seniors. This is what is my suggestion about startups. These are very interesting, and believe me, a lot of people are doing. You should know your product which you are launching. That's all, right? Anything else? Any other
Any more
questions?
questions?
Sure. So I mean, it's great. Any question? If there is no question, so thank you so much for patient hearing. While I was a student, I used to find it very boring. It was tough to keep yourself awake to listen every bit. So first thing was my point is that I will not give any presentation. And thank God that Avinash told me that there is no, sorry, Naveen, I'm telling you Avinash. Naveen told me that there is no presentation involved. I'm really sorry, please excuse me for that. So I'm happy that you guys keep yourself awake, and I hope you could find a little bit some information from our discussion. And if you need any other suggestion, any other guidance, please feel free to reach out to me. You will get my details in LinkedIn with Naveen, with Rahul, and anytime, any suggestion, any help, please feel free. I feel very happy to interact with students because you guys are very, I believe you are proactive, and believe in yourself, please. What you are doing is very good. Environment is something in the coming 2-3 years is going to give you a lot of opportunities. You just have to keep your eyes open, right? So all the best to all of you. Thank you.
The Office of Career Services, I would like to thank our guest, Dr. Kapoor, for taking the time to come here today and share her knowledge and experiences with us. We're extremely grateful to everyone who has attended today, and we sincerely hope that you found this gathering enjoyable and that you gained valuable insights that prove beneficial to you in the future. Special thanks to Shamita and Prabhu, my fellow SCRs, for taking the time out to work on organizing today, and for Professor Rahul and Naveen sir for his insights throughout the whole process. Thank you.
Okay, guys, please, can we come to you can also get
Yeah.
Take it from there, that's it.